Hello. We have already discussed the cost of capital concept, components of cost of capital, cost of debt, cost of preference share, and now we are going to discuss cost of equity share capital. We are going to understand about the concept of cost of equity share capital and the different methods to calculate the cost of equity share capital, which includes dividend yield method, dividend yield plus growth method, earnings per share method, and the capital asset pricing method. So 4 methods to calculate the cost of equity share capital is going to be discussed in this video along with solved out problems. So see the video. I hope this will be useful for you people. Thank you. Next we can move on to the next source of capital, next source from where we can raise the capital. That is one of the important one, that is equity share. So we need to calculate the specific cost of equity share capital. So it is difficult to calculate the cost of equity capital compared to calculating the cost of debt and cost of preference share capital, simply because the dividend is not fixed. We know that in the case of debt, the interest rate is already fixed. In preference share, the dividend rate is fixed. So it is easy to calculate the cost of debt. But in the case of equity share, as we all know that the dividend rate is not fixed earlier, it is slightly difficult to calculate the cost of equity share capital theoretically. So the cost of equity share is the rate of return expected by the equity shareholders. Definitely the cost of equity share means definitely the company should give a dividend to the equity shareholders at a particular rate, and that is the cost of equity share. So there are different methods to calculate the cost of equity share capital. Some of them are the dividend yield method, dividend yield plus growth method, earning price method, the capital asset pricing approach. All these are the different methods to calculate the cost of equity share capital. So we can see one by one. The first one is the dividend yield method. So we will have a quick look on these 4 methods: dividend yield method, dividend yield plus growth method, earning price method, and CAPM method. Okay, so the dividend yield method, we need to memorize the formula, and then in the question the figures will be given, we need to apply and we will get the answer. Okay, so dividend yield method, the formula is the cost KE, that is the cost of equity share capital, is equal to D divided by MP into 100. That KE is the cost of equity share capital, D is the dividend per share, and MP is the market price of the share. In case of newly issued shares, the market price MP will not be given, not known. So we must take net proceeds instead of MP. That you must keep in your mind. Normally the formula is, in dividend yield method, KE is equal to D by MP. For in the case of newly issued shares, the market price will not be set. So in that cases, instead of MP, we must focus on the next formula, that is for the newly issued shares in which the market value is not given, then KE is equal to D divided by NP into 100. Okay, so we will have a small example question. The share of a company are selling at rupees 100 per share, and the company paid a dividend of 10 per share. Calculate the cost of equity capital. Here we can say that the share of the company are selling at 100 rupees. So the market value of the share is given, MP is given, that is 100, and the company is paying a dividend 10, that dividend is also given. So we can use the formula KE is equal to D divided by MP into 100. D is equal to 10, MP is equal to 100. So substitute it, we will get 10% as the cost of equity share capital. We can move on to the next question, next area, that is dividend yield plus growth method. Dividend yield plus growth method. In this question also we can see that 2 formulas will be there, that is KE is equal to D1 divided by MP plus G, that is the growth rate, into 100. And in case of newly issued shares in which market price is not given, then instead of MP we must take NP. So KE is equal to D1 divided by NP plus G into 100 when it is newly issued shares. So we can say that in this formula, D1 is the expected dividend per share at the end of year, and D1 is calculated with the help of another formula, that is D0 into 1 plus G, where D0 is the last year's dividend. So in the question we should be very careful that the dividend will be given. You must be very sure that whether the dividend is given is of the last year or of the current year. If it is of the last year, then definitely we need to calculate the current year's dividend by applying the formula D1 is equal to D0 plus 1 plus G. So see an example question. The share of a company are selling at rupees 80 per share, and the company paid a dividend of rupees 8 per share last year. That means the last year's dividend. Calculate the cost of equity capital if the investors expect a growth rate of 5% per year. So in this question, definitely because of the growth rate is given, we can say that it is a question which is related to dividend yield plus growth method. And in this question, the market value, the market price of the share is given. So we can stick on to this formula, that is KE is equal to D1 divided by MP into G into 100. So dividend paid on the last year is 8. So D1 is not given. D0 is given, that is last year's dividend is 8. Growth rate is given, that is 0.05. Market price of the share is given 80. So we need to calculate D1. So D1 is equal to D0 into 1 plus G. That means 8 into 1 plus G is 5%, so 0.05. So we can calculate D1, the current year dividend is equal to 8.4. It is not 8 as given in the question. In the question, it is the dividend in the last year, that is D0 is equal to 8. So we need to calculate D1 for applying in the formula. D1 is equal to D0 plus 1 plus G, that is 8 into 1 plus 0.05 into 0.5 is equal to 8.4. Now we got all values, just substitute into the formula. KE is equal to 8.4, that is D1 divided by MP, market price 80, plus 0.05, that is a growth rate into 100, we will get 15.5%. That is the cost of equity share capital as per dividend yield plus growth method. Now we can move on to the next method, that is earning price method. It is comparatively a very easier method. In this question we can see the formula, that is the KE is equal to earning per share divided by MP into 100. And if the market price is not given, then definitely KE is equal to earning per share divided by NP into 100. See an example question. Remember the formula and see the example question. See the following information of the company. Number of existing equity share is 10 lakh. Market value of share is rupees 100 per share. Net earnings is 90 lakh. So that's the information given to us. So we need to, the question has two parts. Part A, that is compute the cost of equity shares, and second one is also compute the cost of equity share capital if shares are issued at rupees 55. That means it is issued at a discount of rupees 5, and the cost of issue is rupees 5 per share. Also a cost of issue is also mentioned in that. So we can go for the solution part. So the first part, that is part A, we know that in order to calculate the as per the earning price method, since the market value of the share rupees 60 is given, so we will stick on to the formula, that is KE is equal to EPS divided by market price of the share into 100, and the market price of the share, that is 60 rupees, is already given. Then we need to calculate the EPS, earning per share. So we know that the net earnings is 90 lakh and the number of existing equity shares, number of shares is 10 lakh. So in order to get the earning per share, we can divide the 90 lakh, that's the net earnings, divided by the number of existing shares. Then we will get the earning per share, that is equal to rupees 9. Now we can just substitute the values, that is KE is equal to EPS, that is 9, divided by market price of the share, that is 60 into 100, which will give you the answer 15%. That means the cost of equity share is 15%. Now we can move on to the second part of the question. If the shares are issued at a discount of rupees 5 and the cost of issue is also there, 5 rupees per share. Remember, total number of shares is 10 lakh shares and 5 rupees per share is the cost of issue. So we can go for the formula, that is EPS divided by net proceeds. Here we will take net proceeds because we can't take the face value of the share because it is issued at a discount of 5 rupees, and also the cost of issue is also mentioned. So we will go for EPS divided by NP into 100 formula. EPS is already calculated in the above part, that is 90 lakh divided by 10 lakh is equal to rupees 9. So our task is to find out the net proceeds, that is face value. Since it is issued at discount, we must deduct the discount amount from the face value, then the cost of issue also should be deducted. So it is directly given that it is issued at 55, that means 5 rupees of discount is there. So 55, then we need to deduct the rupees 5 per share. So we will get the net proceeds is 55 minus 5 is equal to 50. So 50 is the net proceeds, don't take as 60. Now we have all the values, just substitute, that is KE is equal to the EPS that is already computed, 9 divided by 50 into 100, we will get answer 18%. So this is all about the earning price method. Next we can move on to the very important part, that is CAPM, the capital asset pricing approach. This is an approach which is used to calculate the cost of equity share capital, and it is also something which is related to the risk associated with the investment and all. This method is developed by William Sharpe, and the return on equity shares depend upon the amount of risk associated with it. And William Sharpe gave much importance to the fact of a risk which is associated with investment. So the return on equity shares depends upon the amount of risk associated with it. He says that whenever the risk increases, the return will also increase. So William Sharpe in the capital asset pricing approach said that the risk and return have a positive relationship, because whenever the risk increases, the return will also increase. Whenever the risk decreases, the return will also decreases. So as risk rises, investors will expect more return to compensate the risk taken. Normally, when more risk is taken by the investors, they will definitely expect more return. So the company or the firm should be able to satisfy them with the extra return that they are expecting because of the extra risk taken by them. So there are two types of risk associated with equity shares, that is, one is systematic risk and another one is unsystematic risk. And we all know that systematic risk and the unsystematic risk are the two types of risk where the systematic risk can be measured and the unsystematic risk cannot be measured. So the systematic risk which can be measured is usually measured by a factor, we call it as beta factor. So as per William Sharpe's capital asset pricing approach, a formula is there to calculate the cost of equity share capital, that is KE, cost of equity share capital, is equal to RF, which means risk free rate of return, plus beta, that means the coefficient, beta coefficient, that means the risk associated, the systematic risk associated with beta, multiplied with the RM, that means the average market return, minus RF. So please have a close look onto the formula. The cost of equity share capital KE is equal to RF, the risk free rate of return, plus beta whole multiplied with RM minus RF. So here is an example question for you to understand the concept of capital asset pricing approach. You are given the following information. The risk free rate return is given as 11%. The beta coefficient of the firm, that is 1.25. So you are asked to compute the cost of equity capital under CAP model, assuming the market return of 15% next year. So in this question, the risk free rate of return 11%, RF is given, the 15%, that is the market return which is to be expected, that is RM, is also given, and the beta coefficient of firm 1.25, that means the systematic risk associated with the firm is also given. So we just need to substitute the values to this formula. That means KE is equal to RF, that is risk free rate return, that is 11%, plus the beta factor is 1.25, multiplied with the average market return, that means RM is equal to 15% minus 11%, you will get 11% plus 5% is equal to 16% as the cost of equity share capital. So normally this is a broad concept. For your studies, you need to know the concept of CAPM method. That means the risk in this method, this is a method which is used to calculate the cost of equity share capital. It is developed by William Sharpe and it gives more importance to the risk associated with the investment. So it always says there is a direct relationship between the risk and return. Whenever the risk increases, the return also increases. So a formula is KE is equal to RF plus beta into RM minus RF, where beta is a coefficient which is used to measure the systematic risk of a firm. So that's all about the CAPM model.